Hello everyone, this is Dr. Geeta Nayak Vislavat, Assistant Professor of Public Administration, working at Government Degree College, Hayatnagar. Today's topic is Social Justice Approach. In that, we are going to discuss about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This topic is a part of BA first year, first semester Public Administration subject under module Social Justice and Approach. He is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is the father of Indian Constitution. Social justice. Here we are going to discuss what is social justice, how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is called as a social justice thinker, and what he did in his lifetime for Dalits, downtrodden communities, and so on. At the same time, we are going to discuss his movements, social movements, political movements, and his life history, so on. So, first of all, here we are going to discuss what is social justice. Social justice or social democracy, a way of life which recognizes equality, liberty, and fraternity as an integral part of it. So, there should be equality, there should be liberty, freedom, and fraternity. So, these things should be there for if somebody is getting these all the things, then he will be called as he is socially free or socially he is getting everything. So here Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in his lifetime strived for the equality and strived for the welfare of downtrodden people, poor people. So according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, economic justice will lead to social justice. Social justice will lead to political justice. So, how it will lead? Why it is like that? I will give you some example, a small example, by that you can know very well. So, economic justice means the free from gaining amount or free from taking something economically. For example, if a woman who is working in any company or in any government or a self-dependent woman, if she is getting some amount, some X amount, some 50,000, 30,000 or something as her monthly salary, and another woman, she is fully dependent on her husband, she has family, children, in-laws, and she is staying at remote area or a small village. Compare between these two women, compare these two incidents, where you will feel so economic justice is there, or where you feel which woman will be economically free, which woman can buy the things what she want. Yes, obviously the woman who is doing job can take or can buy anything what she want or what she desires to take. So in this, once a woman gets or a woman or a man gets economic justice, then he can do some things independently, he can lead his life independently. So due to economy, due to his salary or due to his economic status, the people around him will treat him equally. So in that way he will get a respect in society, in that way he will get a love and affection from society. So in that way he is getting social justice, socially he is involved in society and he is recognized as a part of society. So by economic justice he is getting social justice. Mainly women are downtrodden people. This social justice will lead to political justice. When you have uh, economy or money in your hand and when you are recognized by society, then you can you can fight for political justice or you can fight for political status in the society. For example, in 1993, in India, we got 73rd and 74th amendments, which gave one third or 33% of reservations to women. But in reality, women are getting jobs or women are politically entering, but the real power is enjoyed by their male partners or their male family members. So they are not getting or not taking real fruits of political equality in society. So here, when they are economically self-sufficient, then they will get social justice, then it lead to political justice. So social justice finds answers to specific problems like unequal representation in the society, caste system, gender discrimination or gender inequality. These are all the problems. It can give solutions to these age-old problems. Dr. Ambedkar concentrated more on social and economic justice because he thought social justice and economic justice will lead to political justice. So he concentrated on downtrodden people, and he continuously awared them regarding their rights and made them to develop in that way. He fought throughout his life for the cause of downtrodden communities, Dalits, women, so on. He is the one of the eminent Indian thinker. His contributions are lot to society, and he was versatile in many subjects like law, sociology, economics, political science, public administration, anthropology, education, and comparative religion are the some of the subjects or some of the areas where he is eminent thinker. His efforts to eradicate social evils like untouchability, caste restrictions are remarkable in the society. He has a deep understanding of complex and diverse Indian social system. So he opposed Manusmriti, which is the base for the division of Indian society. The unequal division of Indian society started from Manusmriti. So he opposed Manusmriti. His ideas on social justice, democracy, governance, and constitutional morality are quite relevant in modern times. Still, the ideas on the basis of the ideas of Ambedkar, our constitution was written. Still, it is a successful. India is a successful country in the third world. It is developing, and till today, we are following his ideas. Life history. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, popularly known as Baba Saheb Ambedkar, he was born on 14th April 1891 in Madhya Pradesh. The area of his birthplace is Mao. Mao. He belongs to Mahar community. Mahar is a SC community at that place. So he belongs to Mahar community. He was the 14th child in his family. He is the last child, and his mother passed away after his birth. At the time of when he was in 5th year, his mother passed away, and later his family shifted to Maharashtra. In 1907, he completed his matriculation or 10th class from Elphinstone High School, Mumbai, and um, he completed his graduation in BA in the year 1913. From Columbia University, he completed MA PG course on ancient Indian commerce. It was his subject in 1915, and PhD on national dividend for India, a historical and analytical study. This is his PhD thesis. He got PhD from Columbia University in 1917. He joined MSc Economics in London School of Economics and DSc Economics in the same London School and Political Science, London School of Economics and Political Science. And he completed his MSc Economics. He's completed his MSc Economics on provincial decentralization of imperial finances in Britain, India. And in 1923, he completed a DSc Economics on the problems of the rupee. So he completed his bar at law from Gray's Inn College, London in 1923. In 1923, he came to India. In his early career, he was an economist, professor, and lawyer. He was a drafting committee chairman of Indian Constitution. He was the first Indian law minister in Nehru's cabinet. In 1936, he founded Independent Labour Party. In his lateral stages or last stages, he converted into Buddhism from Hinduism. Due to serious illness and diabetes, he passed away on 6th December 1956. He was posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award, in 1990. It is his life story. His major works are he wrote many books, he established many committees and many political parties, newspapers. So he was, I already told you, he was a versatile in knowledge. The major works are The Problem of Rupee, Its Origin and Its Solutions. It is in 1923. The Evolution of Provincial Finance in British India, 1935. Annihilation of Caste, 1936. Ranade, Gandhi and Jinnah, 1943. Some of his writings. Thoughts on Pakistan, 1946. Thoughts on Linguistic States, 1945. Who Were the Sudras? It is another book published in 1946. State and Minorities, 1947. Who Were the Untouchables? Another book in 1948. Maharashtra as a Linguistic State, another report in 1948. The Buddha and His Dharma in in 1956. After his birth, his another two books were published. Rise and Fall of Women in 1956. The ideas of Ambedkar were came out of another books. The Dr. Ambedkar on Buddhism in 1982. These two books were published after his death, and the newspapers established by Ambedkar were Mook Nayak. It is Maratha Weekly, and later on in 1927, he introduced Bahishkruta Bharati, another newspaper. He was some of his organizations. The following are the schools and organizations he was established for downtrodden people and their for helping them and for awareing, making them to aware in their rights and duties. So the following are some of the organizations: Siddhartha College of Arts and Science in 1946, Milinda Mahavidyalaya in 1951, Siddhartha College of Commerce and Economics in 1953, Siddhartha College of Law in 1956. Committees and political parties established by Ambedkar in his lifetime. They are Bahishkruta Hitakarini Sabha in 1928, Samata Sainik Dal in 1928, Independent Labour Party in 1936, People's Education Society in 45, and Republic Party in 1956. Stages of Ambedkar's life. Ambedkar's people's life is nearly 3.5 decades, that is nearly 35 years, from 1980 to 1956. So in this 35 years, his fighting and his contributions are divided into 5 stages. First one is 1918 to 1928. He fought for the welfare of the weaker sections, Dalits, downtrodden people in India as a lawyer. In 1923, actually, he came to India. In 1918, from 1918, he was concentrated on Indian society, and he want to change. He want to fight for the equality. So, as a lawyer, he worked for the Dalits. From 1929 to 1936, he fought for the establishment of separate electoral or special constituents for Dalits. First round table conference, second round table conference, third round table conference. These all the things were happened in this period. And in 1937 to 1946, he occupied different positions, different uh, great positions in government of British. Worked for the lower sections of the society. And in 1946 to 1950, he played a major role in making of Indian Constitution as a drafting committee chairman, and so he's called as father of Indian Constitution. From 1945 to 1956, in his last stages, uh, he spread Buddhism. 1950 to 1956, he's totally concentrated on Buddhism, and he want to come out of Hinduism. And he, in his last stages, he supported Buddhism. Contributions of Ambedkar. Many issues, institutions, individuals influenced Ambedkar. There are many incidents. He is unable to enter in temples. He was opposed by sitting in school, and he was opposed by taking water from taps. So on, many problems he faced due to his caste and due to inequality in Hindu society. Almost all the fields he contributed a lot. I already told you he was versatile of knowledge, and his contributions are immense, and his contributions are in different categories and different countries. Till today, we are following and sensing those contributions. So his works are summarized under the following categories. They are contributions to Dalits, contributions to constitution, contributions to politics, contributions to other social movements. So these are his contributions are divided into four parts. One is specially for Dalits, and other is for politics, another is for constitution, and last one is for social movements. He was the leader in most of the social movements. So these are some of the contributions of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar for equality and for the society. First of all, we are going to discuss about the contributions of Dalits, contributions to Dalits. So Ambedkar, as I told you, Ambedkar belongs to Meher community, a low caste community viewed by Hinduism, and he had bitter experiences of untouchability and social cultural discriminations by upper castes. Just now I told you he is unable to enter temple. His community people are unable to enter in schools, and if they want to study in schools, they have to sit on ground, and they have to be outside of the classroom, and they're not allowed to take water from tap, and so on. There are many problems, and once mm, he got many bitter experiences. So always he is thinking on inequality and the unequal representation of Hindu society. He decided to fight against the caste discrimination that almost fragmented the nation. So this Ambedkar thought that this caste division made India into fragments, India into division. The divisions, the problems in India on caste basis are mainly due to this Hinduism's inequality. He opined that there should be a separate electoral system for the untouchables and lower caste people. He also favored the concept of providing reservations for Dalits and other religious communities. So he fought for reservations, and he supported for separate electoral for untouchables and lower caste people. Later on, he fought for reservations. and today everyone, today SC, ST, and BCs acquired reservations with his blessings. And though his book, Who Were Sudras, Who Were Untouchables, throughout his book, the Who Were Sudras and Who Were Untouchables, in these books he expressed his opinion regarding Dalits. He wrote a lot of books, and in every book he explained about the problems of Dalits and unequal representation of Hindu society and casteism, so on. So next one is contributions to other social movements. He did many social movements. He was a union member, trade union member. He worked as trade union member earlier when he entered, before entering into politics. Earlier in his trade union days, he recognized textile workers and other employees and formed a militant group of his followers. So he fought for casteism and equality, and he is the leader for Dalits and downtrodden people. So he worked as a trade union president in some trade unions, and he made campaigns such as temple entry movement. The temple entry movement, Kalaram Temple, Nasik. There he did satyagraha for entry into the temple, and many places he did temple entry movement, and he fought for the safe access to safe drinking water. At that time, they are unable to bring water, and they are unable to get safe drinking water. They are unable to, they are opposite or banned to take water from public taps. So he fought for safe drinking water and entry into temples, so on. He was looking for social reforms in the sense of recognition and reconstruction of Hindu society on the basis of equality. He fought for equality in Hindu society and social reforms. He want to bring some social reforms, and he want to reconstruct Hindu society on the basis of equality, because the Manusmriti or Hindu casteism or Hindu religion is based on unequal distribution. So the inequality made lower caste people into poor, and the upper caste people are dominating on them. So he want to reconstruct Hinduism, and he want to reconstruct Hindu society on the basis of equality. And Jyotiba Phule's writings and Jyotiba Phule's views, goals are influenced by him. Jyotiba Phule was influenced, his writings are influenced on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he further elaborated or forwarded Jyotiba Phule's ideas on social justice. Contributions to politics. He founded many political parties. Just now in the earlier slides I explained, such as Independent Labour Party, Republic Party, so on. And he opposed the decision of Congress and Gandhi to call untouchable community as Harijans, and he appointed as Defense Advisory Committee, and in the Viceroy's Executive Council as Minister of Labor. So before independence also, he appointed as Minister of Labor in Viceroy's Executive Council. After independence, he became the first law minister of country. According to Ambedkar, states should secure socio-political and economic justice to all. So in preamble, he clearly mentioned justice, social, economic, social, and political. So he clearly mentioned about the social justice, economic justice, and political justice, due to which the equality will sustain in country. So it will lead to egalitarian society. He dreamed for egalitarian society in India, and mainly equality in Hindu society or casteism. He opposed casteism, and he strongly believed in democracy. In order to bring egalitarian society, he thought that democratic form of government is the best form for Indian government, Ambedkar supported parliamentary form of government, because in parliamentary form of government there will not be a higher, just like king, next king will be prince, like that. So in democratic form or in parliamentary form of government, people will rule by their representatives, and the people will be common people. So he supported for the parliamentary form of government. He also advocated for the timely elections. He specially noted and specially insisted for the timely elections in India, and he also um, insisted for the strong opposition. Strong opposition, if any country or any state or anywhere, if strong opposition is there, is present, then the functioning of the democracy will be better. So he strongly proposed for the strong opposition in the country. And contributions of Ambedkar on constitution, as I already told you, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the chief architect of the Indian constitution. So he was called as father of Indian constitution. Being a chairman of draft committee, a member of Meher community, he got incorporated many provisions for unequal into our constitution. So he brought equality in many areas, mainly gender equality, and reservations for lower caste people, and reservations for women, so on. Education and voting, franchise system, adult franchise system, everywhere he fought for equality. And reservations for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other backward country classes are included in the constitution with the help of Ambedkar. Due to his bitter experiences, uh, he supported for reservations in Indian constitution, and rights of minorities are secured through various provisions. Already, the division of India made bad experience to Indian political leaders. So they secured minority rights in proper way, and socio-economical political justice is entrusted through various provisions of Indian constitution. I already told you, women equality, gender equality, and everyone are equal before law, educational equality, reservations, political equality, economical equality in DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. So these are all the provisions made Indian Constitution socially, economically, politically justiciable, and uh, he supported for linguistic states in India, because India is home for lot of languages. So he supported for linguistic states. He thought that the division, Indian states must be divided on the basis of languages, because if not, if on the basis of caste they divide, then the problems will still arise. So he supported for the linguistic states, and uh, in his books Linguistic States, in 1945 he supported for the linguistic states, and thoughts on linguistic states in 1945 he supported, and Maharashtra as a linguistic state also he supported for the separate states on the basis of languages. And at the same time he encouraged a lot of languages and scripts of India. He equally given importance to all the languages and all the scripts available in India. And at the same time he supported for one official language in India. So he supported for Hindi as a official language in India. In his last stages, he went to Sri Lanka in 1950 to attend a conventional Buddhist scholars and monks meeting, and converted himself into Buddhism. After coming back to India, he converted into Buddhism from Hinduism, founded Bharata Buddha Mahasabha in 1955, and his followers. In 1955, his 5 lakh followers, he converted them from Hinduism to Buddhism, because he thought that Hindu caste system and Hindu community is totally based on unequal representation. So he tried a lot for bringing back equality in Hindu society, but he was unable to get that. He was unable to reach that target. So he converted into Buddhism, where he censored the equality in Buddhism. At the same time, his disciples, nearly 5 lakh disciples, converted into Buddhism, and he attended fourth World's Buddhist Conference at Kathmandu, completed his final manuscript, The Buddhist or Karl Marx, on 2nd December 1956, and he passed away on 6th December 1956 with ill health and high diabetes, so on. Coming to conclusions, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's idea of social justice continues to guide many till today. So till today, in many segments and in many academics and in jobs, everywhere we are talking about social justice. And nowadays, after his contributions as a Indian Constitution writer and architecture of Indian Constitution, till today we are still talking about social justice. Still, India is not gained total social justice or equality in India, and still his contributions are working and till today. And the concept of disruptive justice is implied in various academics and theoretical works. Um, he is still a motivator, leader to those who strive for social justice and egalitarian society, and who wants equality in society. For them, he is still leader, motivator, so on. So his contributions are still relevant in 21st century. For any queries, please contact 9849373729. Thank you.